Hello everyone. So in this audio class we are going to start company's rule. Okay. 1.2 subtopic company's rule. So company's rule, in this company's rule, which part we are going to study? Company's rule means it is a long period. So basically we are going to study Robert Clive's period. What important changes came under Robert Clive? Okay. Firstly, we are going to study about Robert Clive period. Then more changes were there under different governors rule. Okay, during Warren Hastings rule there was changes. So what happened? First of all, what happened during Robert Clive? We will see that. Okay, the second administration of Robert Clive was a important phase. So what happened in this second administration? That means the second phase of administration of Robert Clive, there was a change in the company. So the company, the British East India Company, before this period they did not have any legal right to rule in India. So by some measures adopted by Robert Clive, they managed to gain this legal sanction. That means they, through the legal sanction, they can rule in India easily. So they will become legal rulers. So what happened? By the Treaty of Allahabad in 1765, what happened in this treaty? It was of very much importance. In through this treaty, Shah Alam, Mughal Emperor and Robert Clive, what they signed, that means what were the terms of the treaty? That means dual government was introduced. Okay, in Bengal the company got what right? Diwani right. Diwani right means collection of revenue. Okay, and what other responsibilities the company got? The civil, criminal and police administration. Okay, all this responsibility were earlier not in the hands of, or this right of collecting revenue were not in the hands of British. If you want to collect revenue of a place, you will have to be appointed by the government, or you have to be the government itself. So the British empire, British people, they tried to be the government themselves. And one more thing happened, that the Nawab, who enjoyed all these facilities before, what happened? He did not enjoy it later after this treaty, or he became the Nawab became a tutelary military administrator. That means what? His position was reduced than the earlier one. Earlier he enjoyed it as a ruler, but now he's not the complete ruler of the area, because the entire ruling authority went into the hands of the British. So after Robert Clive, there were many other governors who also imposed political authority over Mughal rulers. So that means they were politically very ambitious people, the British. So the British, they tried to impose political authority of over the Mughals. That means they tried to gain the position of the Mughal rulers. Okay, so during Warren Hastings rule, what happened? He was the first one to try to claim the same status that of the Mughals. So the Mughal power, the Mughal king or the Mughal emperor was of huge respect to the people of India during that time. So these British officials, they knew about it, and so they, what happened, they also tried to gain that position in the eyes or in the minds of the people of India. They wanted to gain the same position as the Mughals. So they tried to make the Indians believe that they are very superior, they have this much of power to rule in India. So they tried to claim the same status than that of the Mughals. So we have to understand that the Mughal was the vast ruling power that time. The British knew about it, so they knew that the people of India would be living under Mughal rule. So to occupy the ruling position of India, whom they need to attack first, it was the Mughals. So what happened? gradually they tried to decrease their position too, the Mughals position too. So later on in the act of 1773, by the act of 1773, that main position of the governor, those governors who were under in the British administration, their position or their post name was changed from governor to governor general. And governor general, where he was positioned in Bengal. Okay, that means that time Bengal was the main center of British administration. And other uh, presidencies, as we have learned about it, there were three presidencies that are Calcutta, Madras and Bombay. So Calcutta, Madras and Bombay, there will be the governors. So in the head will be the governor general, and under him or subordinate to him will be the governors who will be positioned in the presidencies called Madras, Bombay and Calcutta. So another, this is one act of 1773. So another act was introduced in 1784. It is called Pitt's India Act. Why this act was needed to be introduced? Because in the previous act 1773, it was found that there are some defects in the act. Okay, there are some defect means what? The defects were like defects in the administrative system of India. Okay, the rules or the terms of that act was somewhat defective to rule in the country. Okay, that did not help them to rule in the country smoothly. So what happened, another act was sent to India. Pitt's India Act was sent to India, and this act introduced the two-tier system in India, two-tier system of administration in India, or the 12 governor, dual administrative system in India. So what happened here? A secret committee of 3 directors will be there, okay, on one hand, and this committee will be looking over the British Governor General, and uh, another home government will be looking looking over the issues of India. That home government will be the government of Britain. Okay, through that board of control he will be looking uh, over the issues of India. So what happened, the governor general will not be directly controlled by the British government. British government means from Britain no one will directly control the governor general, but there will be an indirect control. That means the matters of India will be looked upon by the British home government in Britain. Okay, a secret committee, this was introduced in India through this Pitt's India Act. There, so a two-tier government will be running the administration of India. No, it is not two-tier government actually. A two-tier administration will be there, which will help to look after the matters of India. And later on, many other acts were introduced. See, 1833, 1853. Okay, these acts were introduced for what? For making the British administration stronger in India. So what we have understood up to here, that the Britishers were gradually, slowly by slowly, they were trying to gain the positions of Indian rulers. Okay, even the Mughal ruler, and they were imposing acts upon the rulers. Okay, what kind of acts? The acts that were first of all, at the first time they tried to gain the legal sanction. Okay, and that was given to them by Mughal ruler itself. Okay, through the Allahabad Treaty. Later on, once they got this legal sanction, now they left no means. By hook or by crook, you will see gradually the British had an entire hold over the country. So next what happens, see, we have seen that they have introduced many kind of acts through which they ruled India. So as a result, what happened, there were discontent among the people of India. That means people of India were not happy by some kind of measures or policies adopted by the British in India. So this discontentment was shown in the Sepoy Mutiny. So 1.3 subtopic is beginning of Sepoy Mutiny in India. So this discontentment of the people were reflected in the Sepoy Mutiny. So during this time, who was the Governor General? Lord Canning. Before this, who was the Governor General? Lord Dalhousie. So we can see the causes, why the causes lined up to uh, break up with a Sepoy Mutiny. That means break upon the period as the Sepoy Mutiny. What were the causes that lined up? So Dalhousie, if this name come to our mind, what connections he had with Sepoy Mutiny? That means some of the causes of his policies were also the causes of Sepoy Mutiny. So what was his policy? It was the Doctrine of Lapse. Okay, Doctrine of Lapse policy, I have already explained it in the class, that rulers who have the adopted sons, okay, the rulers of India who do not possess their biological son cannot uh, keep hold of their empire or cannot keep hold upon their area of rule. So this area, their entire area, who do not possess their biological son or heir to the empire, will lose the entire empire to the British. The British will gain those areas. That means if that ruler don't have their biological son, or if the son is adopted, he cannot be the next ruler. So entire area of the rule, that means entire area where the particular king rule, will be conquered by the British. That was the policy. So that policy was not logical. So people were very unhappy with all this, and many other causes were there. High revenue policies were there, which led a huge discontent among the people of India, mainly in Awadh region, okay, Lucknow, all these areas where new administrative, once the British got the right of revenue collection, so they gradually introduced revenue policies. The policies were like earlier policies, that means they will collect revenue from the production itself, but the policies were little bit modified by the British. That means that modification was that so that they can collect more revenue. So collecting more revenue, by more revenue they were imposing harassment, or they were they were harsh upon the peasants of India. So everyone tried to show their discontent, or everyone tried to oppose the British rule because of these causes. So uh, who were the important personalities of the Sepoy Mutiny? I think we all have heard about the name of Ishwar Pandey, Mangal Pandey. They were important characters, important personalities who sacrificed themselves for their lives for the people of India, okay, in their fight against the British. And the Sepoy Mutiny, or 1857 revolt, you can say, is one of the important revolt or important uprising, because this revolt or this period, this Sepoy Mutiny, was one of its first kind which was against the British. This kind of huge opposition against the British was first time taking place in India by a huge number of people, huge quantity of people, okay. So the rebellion spread over the whole of North India after Ishwar Pandey. The guard was convicted along with Mangal Pandey, and both of whom were awarded capital punishment. Capital punishment is punishment to death. Okay, both of them were convicted. That means they were convicted of attacking the British officers. So they were directly addressed or directly awarded capital punishment. They were shot dead. directly, or they were hanged to death directly. So as a result, people of India, that means those who were protesting, they became more enraged. That means they were not now they were more unhappy with the attack upon their leaders. So now the revolt will rise more. So these two character names, or these two important personalities names, you have to remember. And the details here, it is not mentioned in the books. You know, don't need to know every detail of who were the people that participated in the Sepoy mutiny. The main thing in your chapter is that because of Sepoy mutiny, what are the new administration or constitutional changes, or the changes that took place in India? We need to know about the developments or the changes in India during British rule. So one of the cause of change was Sepoy mutiny. So a brief description of Sepoy mutiny is given here. In future or in higher classes, you will get to know in detail about this part. In class 10, you will get, okay, in class 12 we will get in detail, if you take history in 12. So in 10 class 10 standard, there is in more detail about this chapter 1857 revolt. It is a detailed one, so you don't need to worry that here only this much is given. So this much is only this much that's given in your book is important, just to know that the Sepoy mutiny took place, and as a result of Sepoy mutiny, Indian administration system has underwent a huge change. Okay, the British crown had come. We will see all this later. So what happens, say, what causes were there that resulted in Sepoy mutiny? The causes you can see is as political. Okay, lapse, doctrine of lapse come under political. Economic, you can see those revenue and all. Okay, social, you can see, or religious causes you can see about. I have already told all this in the class about this. What to say, Enfield rifle. Okay, the cartridge, the rumors that the cartridge was made up of dust of cow and um, pig bones. So all these rumors, these attack upon their religion, it was a rumor, it was not a direct attack, you cannot say, it was a rumor. So this kind of rumors spreaded the revolt to a huge extent. Okay, maybe for this cause also rumors were spread that they are attacking our religion, so we must attack them, attack the British. So this kind of rumors were spread maybe to accelerate the pace of the revolt. So another important thing is that uh, the name of the Mughal emperor was scraped away from the coins of the company in 1835. Having the name in a coin reflects that the particular person is in power, still in power. So the company, that is why, tried to remove the name of the Mughal emperor. They wanted to show that the Mughal emperor was no more in power, they are the new power now. Okay, at the same time, English was introduced in the administration, replacing Royal Persian. Royal Persian means that during the Mughal period, Persian was used as the court language. As now we have English as the official language, that time Persian was used as the court language. In ancient India, you can see Sanskrit was used in the court language. That means that was not the language of all common people. Only in court or officially that kind of languages were used. So, in place of Persian, what language was introduced? English language. English language is the language of the British. So it was the language of England. So why they introduced English language? They, in every means, by every means, they wanted to impose their rule in the land. Okay, uh, so all these kind of causes led to the Sepoy mutiny. Now we will see the results of Sepoy mutiny. It is in 1.4 subtopic, the results of Sepoy mutiny. So, what kind of changes came in India as a result of Sepoy Mutiny? Sepoy Mutiny is so much of great importance that, first of all, the people revolted to bring back the Mughal rule. Okay, but the cause or their destination was not reached. Their main aim or their goal to bring back the Mughal rule or to move. Throw away the Britishers was not accomplished. They finally they had to surrender, or their revolt was not that much successful. So we cannot say that the revolt is not successful totally, because after the revolt the results which were there we can see in an alternative way, or indirectly there were some changes in Indian administration. Okay, in the politics of India, in the political scenario of India, India witnessed some various changes, and these changes were not random changes, but these changes were changes of changes which was brought as a result of Sepoy Mutiny. Okay, the British officers who were very harsh upon the Indians, the Britishers who tried to rule India according to their own ways by imposing high taxes or various other ways, they now tried to look upon the Indians a little bit differently. Okay, why this difference was introduced? Just to satisfy the Indians, because if they want to rule in India, they have to maintain that harmony in India, otherwise a ruler or any rule cannot be successful. They cannot smoothly rule the land. So we can, as examples of last few months, we see that in our place, India, there was a mass movement against the cab or car. Okay, that is it, that was a revolt, or not exactly revolt, that was a movement, you can say. Okay, because people were not satisfied, or people were not welcoming that new act. So a new act was not welcomed by people. They tried to revolt, or they tried to uh, protest. So what happens if people keep on protesting like this every time? It is very much hard for the government to rule smoothly in the land. Okay, suppose if you are trying to give a speech, if everyone is making noise, or everyone, not a single person wants to listen to you, it is not possible for you to deliver that speech. So in the same way, no ruler can rule in a land where everyone is against it, against that ruler. So the main ambition of the Britishers will be to bring about some new changes in the administration, in the policies of their administration, so the people of India were satisfied, and they should not protest or revolt against the British again in the future. So what kind of changes were brought by the British, we will see here. First of all, we will see constitutional changes, and later on there is social changes. But social changes, we will I will first tell you about social changes little bit. Thing is that as a result of Sepoy Mutiny, you can see that um, those Indians who were educated, they tried to show their interest towards the Western culture. Okay, modernization. After the Sepoy Mutiny, educated Indians, they became aware that uh, they also need the touch of modernity. Just because they failed in the movement, because their revolt was not a successful one, they observed it that without a organized way, because people of India, they were revolting in every parts of India according to their own ways. It was not a organized revolt. So one organization, so a kind of organization is very necessary. So in order to get organized, more and more people needs to be educated. Okay, so to be leaders of those area, to get the people organized, okay, to make the people understand about why we are revolting. It should be in an organized way, a planned way. So they thought that they now need to be more educated, they now need the valor of the, or the type of life that the Britishers live. That means that level of social, what to social show, you can say, or that level of society they are trying to build up. Okay, so but in this touch of modernity, they wanted to bring up the society in a modern way. So they tried to do it in a self established way. Okay, they did not want to directly copy the British or the West. They learned English education, but they did do English education, they went abroad, but they want to establish their society in their own established way. So this is one effect or impact in the society we can see. Some people were conservative during that time, and those conservative or orthodox people, although they supported the Sepoy mutiny, but once the mutiny failed, once the revolt failed, they also thought it very deeply that no, we need to change ourselves, we need to know the Western culture, okay, we need to know new things in order to fight against them. So they also try to build up their society in their own way, so that they match up to the level of the British and fight with them, fight against them. And also as a result of this Sepoy mutiny, people of India now realize that they are Indians, because they now knew it that they need to be united. Without unity, they cannot fight against this British power. They now need to be united. So this, we are Indian people, this kind of idea, they felt it in their minds. Okay, this kind of ideas rose in their minds, because earlier people were not that much united, because India is a hugely caste based society. Various castes were there, various higher class, lower class, all these were there. And Indians during that time, they, our caste system, because just because of our caste system, people need, they never wanted to mix up with other caste people, or they always thought themselves superior than than the other lower class. So these problems never led them to be united, mainly because of social causes, I am saying, in we are as we are studying the social changes. So what happens, just as a result of this failure in Sepoy mutiny, their ideas, their minds totally changed. We are the Indian people, now they began to feel it, because if we don't think in this way, we cannot fight against the people. And on the other hand, against this sense of unity of the Indians, see the this one difference. English rulers adopted the main policy of divide and rule. So this divide and rule policy, from now, from where, when it had been implemented, from which time, this time, just after the Sepoy mutiny, they realized that people of India are being united. Now they will be more united to be to fight against us. So now Britishers thought that we need to divide these people, we need to create hatred among each other, so that they remain divided and does not come equally or unitedly against us the British. Okay, so this divide and rule policy was being implemented by the British during this time, when they saw unity and revolt against themselves. So as we have seen the social changes, next we will see the constitutional changes. So why I have explained the social changes first is that up This 1.4 subtopic is the results, and 1.5 you will see the all constitutional and administrative changes. So now we will see the constitutional changes. In the next audio I will explain it in details. So constitutional changes, what were the changes that was brought under by the government, okay? What kind of constitutional changes, as we have seen that the result of Sepoy mutiny brought constitutional and administrative changes. So what were those changes? This entire book or entire part of the chapter is about these changes in constitution or administrative policies by the British after Sepoy mutiny. So we will see in details, and continuing with the other part of the chapter 1.5 we will discuss in the next audio. Thank you so much.